Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, let's get to tonight's feature interview. Here we go. All right, let's bring him in. Here he is. Batman, how are you tonight?
Good evening, Mr. Walker. How are you today?
I'm great. Actually, it's been a fantastic day, beautiful and sunny here. It's kind of dark there, which is fitting, I guess.
Yeah, I like it.
That's right. Where are you exactly? You're not in your Batmobile, you're in
This is part of the Batcave.
part of the Batcave, yes. So I want to introduce you to the audience because some people are probably having a little bit of difficulty understanding what this is about. But for folks who don't know, Batman lives in Brampton and actually has the Batmobile, and you will see him on the streets of Brampton patrolling and living the life of Batman. How did you get started doing this? When did you become Batman?
I became who I am, unfortunately, because of the death of my father.
And can you elaborate a little bit on that and tell us how you came to live in Brampton?
Let's see what I can do. 14 years old, being raised by my mom and my dad. I have my dad and my father. Those are the distinctions. Being raised by my mom and my dad instilled me with beliefs, practices, and attributations such as martial arts, swimming, scouts, guides, things like that, where you end up learning right from wrong. And being in Markville Mall, there was a thief on a Canada-wide warrant for his arrest. He was spotted doing what he's doing, which was credit card fraud. When he was chased out of the store and out of the mall, the chase ended up having the two of them there saying, "Stop him, stop him." So what I did was I chased after him. I ended up catching him using a lot of the experience that I've learned from martial arts, right and wrong, and definitely from growing up in the school system that I was in. When I caught him, I ended up learning he was on a Canada-wide warrant, which made the story such a big success. Unfortunately, very shortly after, my father was murdered. This was something that became a very strong turning point in my life. I wanted to make sure that he understood that he had a chance to be proud of his son. And with my mom that was there, that was the permission I needed. And here I am.
And so for folks who are not cluing in, like this is a true story. This was recorded in many mainstream media outlets, police reports confirming all of this. And this is what really led to you deciding to live your life, devoting it to doing the right things and bringing positivity to your community. Is that fair?
That would be accurate and apt. It makes a big difference when you can make someone have them feel awe. Have a family bring their child, definitely have their father in their arms, bring them to you and say, "Son, there is the real Batman. May I have a picture with you? Please and thank you is something that I stand for. I make sure that I reward manners, good manners, as much as possible. So for things like this, I will definitely be out there. And it's not an always thing, but when I can, I do my best to have the best impact as possible.
And you are in the community regularly, and there's a picture of your Batmobile, the real deal. And um, tell us a little bit about that car.
The Batmobile for me is hopefully, obviously, a dream come true. This was something that I worked my behind off for, and I now have it. And the excitement around the Batmobile, the first time that I had any chance of being a part of it, owning it, I was on CTV News. Good Morning was the program that was on, and they did an interview with me. It was my first time ever being on live television for
Yeah.
something like this.
So the car itself, can you tell us give us any of the technical information about it? What kind of engine it has, horsepower, any of those kind of details?
A magician never tells his secrets.
Fair enough. There now there's another photo of you, and I guess you just had some photos taken by someone, which are, I mean, they're really gorgeous pics, and I think they really kind of capture the essence of who and what you are. Your suit too. I mean, it is. That's something else that people. It's become iconic. Does it provide a lot of protection for you? Is there like body armor in there? Tell us about that.
The Batsuit is a very real thing. It does offer me protection, but I do my best to be very careful saying that. You don't want someone catching me saying that and saying, let me test it out. That's not the idea.
Right.
But the Batsuit does offer protection top to bottom. And especially when it is paired up with the Batmobile, and that one isn't it. But when it's
Right.
paired up with the Batmobile, the resulting presentation is something that is quite a sight to see when you're not expecting me, beside you, in front of you, and my favorite, right behind you.
Now, there's some other people in a few of these photos with you. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
Again, not always do I get a chance to do anything like it, but there are members of a community and they have called themselves cosplayers. So there are some that reach out to me. I don't get a chance to say yes to all of them, but there are some that reach out to me and they have their own passions, their own creativity. A lot of them that they actually make exactly what you see. So I give them as much respect as possible because they're the artists of what you're seeing. So this was a photo shoot with Santos Collection and Felicia Black Cat. Basically, they asked me to come out, and because there were 3 or more requests that evening, I decided to have them to be in a conglomerate and put them together and say, okay, let's make that one date and time available for all of us. And these were the results.
Great shots. Oh, it looks like you're having some fun there and maybe a little bit of a challenge. But I mean, these are cosplayers, as you put it. But you really go beyond cosplaying. You really, and this is what people in this need to understand here tonight. You really are Batman. Can you explain to people what that means?
What it means to be myself. Again, I do my best not to encourage anyone else to do exactly the same. It is dangerous. You can get yourself hurt or worse. You have families that love you and are expecting you to return home. So please do that. For me to be who I am, I have caught a criminal on a Canada-wide warrant. I have caught a jewelry thief. I have stopped a driver that was under intoxication while on foot, and he wasn't. And I have served as someone that has been experienced through CPR, first aid, things like this. and helps people on the side.
Right. And really, what you're doing here is you're involved with the community, with the cosplayers here. You're posing for the photos, and this is all this. I'm sure this was fun to do, but
Spider-Man
you,
was in the shot. Hopefully, you can see him.
yes, I do see that. But again, like this is dramatization and as part of a photo shoot, but you really do live the life of a crime fighter, and you're out on patrol in your community, and again, I have to reinforce this for people because what you're doing is so unique.
Time now is 8:25. This interview is directly before the patrol. Sometimes it happens now, but as for the amount of people that know that I'm out there, I have to be careful because sometimes you can actually cause a vehicular accident when people turn their head and see you. So I want to be safe as well as I want to make the community as safe as possible.
Yeah, and
Being
there's
out
a
there, doing what I do is again, it's unique on my own because I made a promise. That's why I'm out there. I made a promise, and if I can make my father and if I can make my dad proud of me, this is exactly what I want to do, why I want to do it. And the last aspiration is now my mother.
and here's this photo at sunset just before you go on patrol in the Batmobile, and it is a street legal car, and
It is. If it wasn't, I would have lost it a long time ago.
right, and that's because you've been pulled over on numerous occasions by police. But tell me about your relationship with police in your community.
When it comes to local police, first things first is respect. I show them respect, period. Comes back is up to them. They are a reality that is out there day and night. And this is something that when they see me, if they pull me over or stop me, there are, I'd say, about 70% a time where they're looking for photographs or even just to meet you and say, I've heard about you. Can I shake your hand? And the answer is always yes. There are times where I get lucky. Within the policing community, they do have a family together where they head out to things like the Polar Bear Challenge or Peel Crime Stoppers, these kind of things. I get lucky if I'm named as a special guest.
Yes, and here you are at, I guess that would be a Santa Claus parade in Brampton.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And I guess that must be a really special thing for you because you get to interact with the public and make kids smile.
The bat suit that you see there is a bit of a warmer one for me, but I chose that one because it was a complete difference than what you're seeing here. When you see the children that are out there, when you see the families that come out from Brampton or other municipalities for the Santa Claus parades, what a surprise.
That's fantastic stuff. And there's another shot from, I guess that's probably the same event.
That's Mayor Dave Barton, Uxbridge.
So you obviously are well known in your community, well respected. You are dialed in, connected, and like many of the community leaders that you meet, you're a community leader yourself, which
One of
is
the things that I can bring up is when someone is excited to take a photograph with me, it is an honor. Thank you. I appreciate that. The idea is I try my best to be the kind of person that you're proud to take a picture of with me. So because of that, anytime that I'm given the privilege to shake a hand, meet the public, definitely the dignitaries, police, and officials, that is the biggest thank you for me to let the community know that I am here.
and here you are in another. Is that the same parade?
That one was last year's Santa Claus parade in Uxbridge. Yes.
Uxbridge. Okay. And there you are. I guess at times you'll stop and get out of the vehicle and let the families get a good look at you, and maybe even go over and interact with some of the kids.
Following the rules of the Santa Claus parades,
Yes.
I can't go too far. One of the reasons why is because, one, I don't want to incite people to come close and surround the Batmobile. It's
Right.
dangerous for them and for me. But then the second one is there are more participants and entrants into the Santa Claus parades. I'm not the show. The host is, and definitely the community that I'm in, they're the show. So I want to remain respectful to all those that are behind me. They're presenting as well.
I think what you're doing is so positive. You're absolutely trying to do the right things and set a good example and be a role model. How do you feel about the way society has become today? Are role models in short supply, and is that one of the reasons you do what you do?
I wouldn't say that role models are in short supply. I would say that our society definitely tests them these days. There's a lot more encouragement for asking questions, for finding out if you are on the right path multiple times, which are good things. If you stand for something, you don't fall for anything. That's exactly the way I would say it.
Now here you are, parked inside, I guess, in a shopping center at
Right.
a food court, right? Where you're doing a meet and greet. And how many events like this would you do in a given year? And do you have any events coming up?
This weekend in Streetsville, they have something called the Streetsville Bread and Honey Festival. I never heard about something like that until they invited me to be there. And ever since being there, I never realized how vibrant Streetsville and Mississauga really can be. There are people that know that name far longer than I do. So now I'm there, and the the passion for these kind of things, especially when they show me pictures of Mayor Hazel McCallion of Mississauga, has attended there multiple years. It's awesome to realize that you're one of the guests that are there.
It is an honor. And oh, there you are with a young person. And
I do my
that,
best to be as gentle as possible.
yes, another youngster.
Absolutely.
This is great stuff. I love this stuff. This is fantastic. We need more of this in our communities. We really do. It's just so positive, and it's so rare, I would say. Is this again the same parade that we were looking at before?
This one was 2 years ago at the Brampton. No, sorry, last year. The Santa Claus parade in Brampton that just passed. Yes.
Okay. And yeah, and of course, you and I, we met because you came all the way up to Ottawa for the Ottawa Gatineau International Auto Show, and participated in that, and it was a great treat to have you up there, and I'm hoping that we can get you back up there again this year if we can make that show happen. We're planning on doing it, and I hope it all comes together. And it looks like another community leader there thanking you for.
Ruby Sahota. Absolutely.
Who is that?
Miss Ruby Sahota is a Minister of Parliament, MP for Brampton.
You are connected. Somebody
There's
checking
Dad.
out your Batmobile. Who's that?
That's my dad.
I see.
Unfortunately, before he passed, he did pass October 23rd. That just passed.
Oh, I'm so
that's
sorry.
one of the last
Yeah.
times that he was out. And I made sure to be in attendance as much as possible. Basically show dad, here I am. And as you can sit down and rest, this is what you'll see that when I head out there. So when you see me, if you think of my dad, you'll realize that I am someone that grew up with a mother, a father, in a loving home. And my point, my purpose is to share back the love that I grew up with as many people as I can.
Well, you're certainly doing that. And is that your mom?
Easy to tell, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just don't know what I look like. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people would say, well, who is the man behind the mask? But you don't reveal your secret identity, the man behind the mask. You because this is really who you are.
If you tell a secret, it no longer is.
Tell us a little bit about your dad. What was he like?
I learned from him something called the Ratepayers Association. While I was growing up, there were times where, and I'm trying to remember the gentleman's name and I can't, but nevertheless, we handed out flyers. We went to food banks, is where I learned that about something called Social Justice Club, Loop 418, where you actually help out in your community. So there were a lot of things that Dad did. One of the most notable things that I will always remember is he was a host of 88.1 CKLN's jazz program. So there's a lot of jazz behind this cape and cowl. He was also part of Toastmasters. So anytime you see Dad, which means you'll see me and doing the exact same, he'll wear a suit, a tie, learn how to tie a tie, button your jacket when you're standing up, unbutton your jacket when you're sitting down. Presentations, learning how to be in the community, learning how to talk, shaking hands with Mayor Frank Scarpiti of Markham. These kind of things was part of Dad. And what was awesome was for him to be my dad. I was in attendance as seamlessly as anyone does the rest of their life. So me being out there was and is very natural to me.
He seems like a very special man, and there you are with an officer who it looks like he pulled you over. What happened? Yeah.
I'm ready to say Norfolk, and that's not the right spot. Once I remember exactly where we're coming back from, I can. But coming back, you'll see the cruiser that's behind me. That's one of the times you get pulled over, and you know you're going to, because every turn you make, there's the same turn that they make behind you, which is fine. It's fine because you know you're not breaking the law. So if they stop you, you know it's for nothing bad. And you get out, shake a hand, ask the officer's name, and usually the next thing that the officer says is, "I have a son. Do you mind taking a video and saying hi to him?" The answer is yes.
And these stops sometimes end up making headlines. You've been covered in the media. Tell me about some of the media coverage you have received.
The officer that is in the picture that you have depicted there, do you see what's in his hand?
Let me see if I can. Hang on. I'm not sure. I can't really make it out. Is it a? Oh, it's. Is that a batarang?
And he'll never forget it. Well done, Mr. Walker. You got it.
That's
what
so
was
cool.
your question? Let me answer it.
I don't remember.
Understood. I do believe it was around me being pulled over and
Oh,
much
right.
attention sometimes you get.
Yeah. How much? Tell me about the media coverage that you have received. How widespread has it been? Has it been, local, national, international, or all of the above?
It has been all of the above. The first time it ever happened, I was coming home from Kingston. This is when the Batmobile was new to me. I heard a sound that I wasn't used to. I stopped, pulled over, stopped. This is on the 401 heading back from Kingston. And when I did that, I took a look at the back, make sure that is still, everything's still status quo. Yep, everything's fine. get back in the Batmobile. Unfortunately, now there's a traffic jam. Fine. Which means as a Torontonian, I'm used to being able to navigate traffic jams. The traffic jam was my fault. I didn't realize this. So now, getting home, there are aspects in life called the AP and CP, Associated Press and Canadian Press. They contacted me and asked me, Batman, were you driving home? Yes, I was. Were you stranded? No, I wasn't. And you continue telling the truth of what it is. There are times where the story stays the same as you tell it. And there are times where the story embellishes to something different. And when the public believes something different, it's hard to let it go.
And you're at some sort of a fall festival there, I can
Woodbridge
see.
Fall Festival. Well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Man, you are so awesome. And these kids love you. The car is so
That's
cool.
That's the mayor.
This is so cool.
This one is the mayor of Georgetown.
That's excellent. And another kidlet. And another. Oh, hey, somebody paying tribute to you in his own bat
The star of the
suit.
show for me are always the families and children that come out. Again, one of the things that I make sure that I stand for are good manners. Please, thank you, these kind of things. The reason why is if it catches on how people speak, how people interact, they're not so quick, judgmental, or hostile. Can you imagine a softer, kinder world for us to grow up in, have our families, and just like you see in the picture, be able to put on an awesome batsuit and shake my hand?
We could sure use a whole lot more of manners, couldn't we, these days? So many people seem to forget them. Wow. Is that September 15th, Brampton Batman? Is that a special date, September 15th?
That would be my birthday.
I gotcha. Okay. And we do have some video as well, I think, of the Batmobile in motion. That guy looks like
Those
Ringo
days are
Starr.
awesome.
That guy, is that Ringo Starr?
I bet you he'd be blushing for that. This is Montreal, Quebec, at someone's wedding, and this was right before that he made his vows. So something like this, obviously now for their family, I'm just thankful I'm allowed to be a part of the ride. This is in the history books for him.
That's so cool. What a great wedding. What an incredible wedding that would be. Is that the wedding, or is that
That was not the wedding. That gentleman is a Canadian celebrity, and unfortunately, the name does escape my mind. But as a Canadian celebrity, for news, I was about to say for Much Music, and that doesn't exist anymore. For news, I believe he had his own. He's a host, I believe.
Yeah, he looks familiar, but I can't place
But I've
him
forgotten his
either.
name. Yes.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm sure he has lots of followers who do know who he is. There you are. Just amazing stuff. What an amazing life. And there's that car. That is so cool. I mean, the heads must turn when they see you going down the road in real life, in real time.
There
It
are
is
good
real.
reactions and bad reactions, but as always, for all of it, one of the things that my dad said to me before he passed was, I have to always remember that now that I'm recognizable while in the public, I have to make sure that my reactions are positive. Everything that I grew up with, make sure that people smile as big as she is.
Yeah, well, that's important. I mean, your image is reality with people, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, you have to be mindful of that at all times now. And because it's all about those kids too, right? In making sure that you live up to
My
their,
favorite one are their parents. Their
yeah,
parents are the fans that bring their children, and I like to make the parents as special as possible. So you see shots like the one you have there, and it
yeah.
isn't about the age. It really is about the personality. Bring your positive personality. Bring your excitement. That is what's welcome right here.
You do make a big difference in people's lives. You really do. What an asset to your town, to your community, to all the communities that you visit. It's just amazing stuff. And to have you out there on the street at night patrolling, I mean that in itself is a big treat for people. And I guess you must attend just even locally some of your local events like cruise nights and car shows. Tell us about that.
There are times that I'm asked to be out for something like that. Um, I'm not always able to say yes. When I can, I make sure that it is something that won't turn into anything bad. For example, um, the city of Vaughan has had a problem with car meets. There are, unfortunately, the way I say it, people that turn a win into a loss.
Hmm.
So now, what the city of Vaughan has done is they've banned car meets. No car meets. So, which means when I'm out there, I want to make sure that I'm not affiliated with anything that is undesirable. So, I may get the request, but I want to make sure that I leave a good impression.
Right,
Otherwise, I won't get invited back.
right. And I can understand why Vaughn has banned those car meets, and it's because they've had some problems with people not following the rules of the road
Right.
and doing some things like that.
Noise violations, rules of the road,
Yeah,
general safety for the public. Absolutely.
yep. A few bad apples spoiling things for the whole bunch at times. Now here's some footage of the Batmobile in action. Tell us when I get this up on the screen. You can tell us a little bit about this video. Here we go. Let me get it cued. This is a great shot of the Batmobile on the road. This is so cool. This is like a dream for so many people. That is so wicked. There you are, man.
What's beside me is a black Lamborghini.
Yeah,
If
let
I
me turn the
was
audio
trying
down
to
on
get
this.
into that shot, but the Lamborghini wouldn't pass me. So change lanes and get moving because, as you saw, the lane was ending.
That is one long car, that Batmobile. What's it? Are there any peculiarities or idiosyncrasies about, or unique things about driving that car? It must be a different kind of experience.
To drive the Batmobile certainly is not the same driving experience as a daily driver. You'll have to, just like any other car, to remember that there are sight lines, there are body augmentations, how long it is, how short it is, how wide a car is. And again, the first thing first is to be safe for the rest of the public. Um, After that, that's it. You drive the way you were taught, safety in mind, and while you're out there, it really is about where you're going.
And it's very, very long. So does that create many unique challenges in driving it? You must need to always be mindful of the length of the vehicle when you're changing lanes and keeping in mind how much distance there is in the back end of the car, things like that.
You do have to do that. Unfortunately, the speed you saw me drive at is unfortunately not always the speed that I'm able to drive at. There are those that create either a rolling roadblock or any kind of reason for that I'd have to stay back. Um,
Hmm.
if anyone creates a rolling roadblock, I do my best to discourage them to continue to inhibit the rest of the road. So unfortunately, you'll see some scenarios where um, drivers with their cell phones in their hands, not on the wheel at all, both hands on their cell phone, steadying their phone for a shot, which means that their vehicle now drifts into my own, is the reason why I stay far back. I'm trying to be proactive, not to get into an accident.
I got you. Here's another video clip that was produced that looks pretty cool. Very cool stuff. I love this stuff.
When it comes to a lot of the work that you're seeing, um, the way that I make sure to highlight is there is an artist behind the lens of that camera. There's an artist that is expressing what they see, what kind of end product that they want to produce, and it goes on their page, public and private. Those are the stars that I like to make sure I give them credit for, and when they do good work, encourage them to come out again and again. So it's not simply only the public that I show respect for. It is also the photographers, videographers, and artists, and definitely the cosplayers that have their passion show their work. Something like that, and they ask me to be a part of it. I only have one word: thank you.
Yeah, very cool stuff. Let me bring this one up here too. I'm going to pull the audio down so we don't get a copyright strike. So again, Batman, just to kind of bring things to a bit of a conclusion here. Tell us again, how can people find you, and where will you be over the course of the summer? What kind of events and festivals will you be attending? Do you have a list yet, or do you need people to get in touch with you to invite you to more of these things?
The best ways to reach me is on Facebook. There is a page that the public has called me Brampton Batman. I didn't call myself that, the public did. I remember this one. That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I won't run the music or we'll get hit with a copyright strike, but yeah, very cool video.
Got it.
And obviously Brampton Batman, they're calling you that because that's the area in which you
That's where you
live
find
and
me the most.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and patrol a lot there, out at night patrolling, and
I do change
yeah.
it up from time to time, but when I do, again, I try to be one as safe as possible because I'm not home. I want to make sure that I respect your home. So if I go to Markham, Mississauga, anywhere else that I can think of, I want to make sure that I'm not causing more of a problem than a solution.
All right, and here's your Facebook page right there. You can find more information, and you can make contact right through that Facebook page at Brampton Batman, and a very cool shot there on your header as well. I'm so grateful for the time that you've spent with us here tonight. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss or think that I might have missed?
One other thing that I can put out there for anyone's enjoyment. A few years ago, I got lucky. There was a videographer team called Lossless for the Toronto International Film Festival. They did a production on me. It was a bit of a documentary. There's two documentaries. One was Bravo TV, and the other one was Lossless. The Lossless production went to the Toronto International Film Festival. and it's called Being Batman. It is a very short film, but that is the movie poster that I've chosen to put on that page. So that wasn't my work. That's the Lossless Brothers' work that that took that photograph. So that's exactly what where I'd start from there.
Right, and that
For
will tell.
things to enjoy, for things to be aware of, and even turn around and kind of say, you know what, I think I like the work that everyone else does. Again, the people, all the hosts that ask me to be there, that's their production that they've asked me to only be a guest. I didn't make it up; they did. For the lenses, the photographers, the experience when they take a picture of me. Some of them are good. Some of them are even more fantastic than the last. Can you imagine the amount of years and experience it takes, and money to buy the lenses, to take these photographs,
Yeah.
pictures, and then for videos, storyboards? It's their creativity, not mine. I didn't make it up. They did.
So that documentary, Being Batman, that will fill in some of the blanks. Maybe if you have more questions about Batman and what he's all about, what he stands for,
It
and
just will show you who I am.
that's right. That's exactly right. Because you're seeing who you are. And that's something I had to kind of wrap my head around, honestly, because, I mean, we all have an idea of what we think Batman is or who Batman is, but until you meet Batman, you don't understand that this is Batman. It's just you have to understand that, and never will he reveal his secret identity behind the mask, because this is actually the this is the person that you are. You are living as Batman. You are Batman.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One last thing before we go. When we have people on this program who do positive things for their communities and go above and beyond to fight for freedom and to make people smile and make people's lives better, we knight people here. We turn them into Maverick Knights. Now, you're already the Dark Knight, but if, with your permission, I would like to make you a Maverick Knight as well. Would that be all right? Can I knight you tonight?
I appreciate that. Thank you so very much.
All right, here we go. Hang on. And I knight thee, Sir Dark Knight.
We, the Maverick family, do hereby dub thee an official Maverick Knight, freedom fighter extraordinaire. May your courage and devotion to freedom and truth become a shining example to the people of our world and the Maverick universe. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Well done. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir. It's been an absolute honor and a privilege to have you on the program tonight. Absolutely. And I hope to have you back on again at some point.
I appreciate that.
All right. We'll let you go, and I'll run a little transition or two here, and then we'll
Happy
come back
Friday,
on the
Mr.
other
Walker.
side. Thank you. You have a great night.
Stay safe.
Told you. Batman. What an awesome, awesome guy. All right. Stay with me, folks. I'll be right back.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
All right, folks. I guess that probably gets us to about the end of the broadcast. So with that, I will just close with the usual please like, share, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything to hit the like button. Consider subscribing over on Rumble, where we continue to grow. If you do subscribe over on our YouTube channels, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the new videos that we put out. We're live here every night, as you know, and I appreciate all of you guys being here tonight. Again, my privilege to have all of you here, and I'll look forward to resuming our coverage of the daily news tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.